Welcome all. We are in Energy Conversion Laboratory and now we are in the sixth experiment. In this laboratory, we have two parts. In part A, we are going to find out the properties of the lubricant as well as the fuel. In part B, we are going to conduct performance tests on various types of engines. So in part A, we are at the sixth experiment, and the aim of this experiment is to find the calorific value of a gaseous fuel. For this experiment, we are using Junkers calorimeter or Junkers gas calorimeter apparatus, and with the help of that, we are going to calculate the calorific value of industrial LPG. Aim is to find the calorific value of the gaseous fuel. Before going to conduct the experiment or talk about the apparatus, let us see the definition of calorific value. Calorific value is defined as the amount of energy released by complete combustion of 1 unit of the fuel. For solid fuel, we use mass as the unit quantity. For gases as well as liquids, we can use either 1 meter cube of gas or liquid, or in terms of kg as 1 kg of gas and 1 kg of liquid. In calorific value, we have two kinds of calorific value. One is higher calorific value and the other one is lower calorific value. When you burn a fuel and bring it back all the products of combustion into the original temperature, into the initial temperature of fuel, then whatever the total amount of energy released, we call it as higher calorific value. If you don't bring the combustion products to initial temperature of the fuel, then whatever the energy released, we call it as lower calorific value. So here, with the help of Junkers gas calorimeter, we are going to find out the lower calorific value of the liquefied petroleum gas or LPG. So here I have written a schematic of the Junkers calorimeter experiment. So here it is basically a heat exchanger. The heat exchange is taking place between the burnt LPG gas and the water. Okay. Here we have concentric tubes through which alternatively the gas and water flows. So at the center we have the inlet for the gas. At the bottom we have the burner, and this burner will be connected to an LPG cylinder. Through the instrumentation panel, we control the amount of LPG flowing into the burner. Then the gas enters the burner and we ignite the LPG gas. We insert the burner into the inlet of the calorimeter. From here, the gas travels upward and then it takes a U-turn and travels downward through the outermost annular gap. And then the gas exits out of the calorimeter through this opening. Now the water enters from here at the bottom of the calorimeter and it flows in the annular gap between the inner pipe as well as the outer pipe. The water moves upward and goes out of this water outlet pipe. There will be two thermocouples at the inlet and outlet of the water to measure the water inlet temperature and outlet temperature, so that we can measure the amount of heat absorbed by the water. So here the principle is that whatever the amount of energy released, that entire energy is absorbed by water. It's a simplified version. Here we are assuming that the amount of energy released by the gas due to combustion will be equal to the amount of energy absorbed by the water. And by measuring the mass flow rate of water, so here to measure the mass flow rate of water, we can easily measure the flow rate and multiply that with the density to get the mass flow rate. So to measure the flow rate of water and gas, we have rotometers. With the help of rotometers, we will measure the flow rate of water and gas, and then with the help of the inlet and outlet temperature of water, we can find out the amount of energy absorbed by water, and that should be equal to the amount of energy released by the gas. Using the energy released by the gas as mass flow rate into calorific value, we can find out the calorific value of any gaseous fuel. So that is what we are going to do in this experiment. There is the experimental setup for Junkers calorimeter. Here we have the calorimeter, and here we have the burner. You can see that we have already switched on the burner. There is the gas cylinder through which the LPG will be supplied to this burner. And in the instrumentation panel, we have the on-off switch, then we have the temperature indicator to measure the inlet and outlet temperature of water. So here we have the temperature selector knob. If it is in the downward position, it is T2 water outlet temperature. If we switch it to upward position, then it is T1 water inlet temperature. Then we have rotometers to measure the mass flow rate of the volume flow rate of water and gas, and here we have the gas control valve, and then here we have the gas pressure indicator. With this we will be able to find out the calorific value of the LPG which is flowing through the burner. So what we do is, first we light the burner and then we need to insert the burner into the gap provided at the bottom. So we need to slowly move the burner upwards. All the flame goes inside the inlet provided at the bottom of the calorimeter. Then we need to wait for a few minutes for this to attain steady state. Once it attains steady state, then we can measure the inlet and outlet temperature of water, then the gas pressure and the flow rate of gas as well as water. So with this data, we will be able to find out the calorific value. Now let us wait for a few minutes till we get our first trial reading. Then we can increase the gas flow rate with the help of the knob provided here, and then we can conduct the same experiment for different trial, for different value of gas flow rate, or we can change the value of mass flow rate or volume flow rate of water and we can conduct the same experiment. The water enters the calorimeter through this port here at the bottom and leaves the calorimeter from the top. Now let us take the first reading. So here you can see that the gas flow rate is at 0.4 liters per minute and the water flow rate is 0.5 liters per minute. The gas pressure is 2.9 kg per centimeter square. The outer temperature of water is 41.3 degrees Celsius. The inlet temperature of water is 26 degrees Celsius. I will increase the gas flow rate for the second trial. Let us calculate the calorific value. We have conducted the experiment. Now let us see the tabular column, then calculation and the result table. So here in the first trial we have taken the reading as the water flow rate is 0.5 liters per minute, gas flow rate is 0.4 liter per minute, and the gas pressure is 2.9 kg per centimeter square. The inlet temperature of water is 26 and the outlet temperature of water is 41.3 degrees Celsius. For the second trial, it is water flow rate is 1 liter per minute, gas flow rate is also 1 liter per minute, then the gas pressure is 2.9 kg per centimeter square, inlet temperature of water is 26 and the outlet temperature of water is 45.1 degrees Celsius. Now let us see calculation for trial 1. So here the first one is the mass flow rate of water. Mass flow rate of water, here we have measured the volumetric flow rate of water which is in liters per minute. That should be converted into meter cube per second and then multiplied that with the density of water. So to convert liter per minute into meter cube per second, we have divided 1000 into 60. Volumetric flow rate divided by 60 converts it into liters per second, and to convert liter into meter cube, we are dividing it by 1000. So when we substitute the values for the first trial, we get it as 8.33 into 10 to the power of minus 6, 8.33 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kg per second. Now to find out the mass flow rate of gas, first we need to know the density, because since water is incompressible, we can take the density of water as 1000 kg per meter cube, but gas is compressible, so its density depends on the pressure and temperature. So we use ideal gas law to find out the density of the gas. So the density of gas rho g is given by Pg divided by Rg into Tg, where Pg is the absolute pressure. So whatever we are measuring with the help of the pressure gauge is with respect to atmosphere. So we need to add the atmospheric pressure to get the absolute pressure. So Pg should be in newtons per meter square, and that should be absolute pressure. Rg is 0.14 kilojoule per kg Kelvin for LPG, and then Tg, again the temperature of the gas should be in Kelvin. Okay, so first let us find out the gas pressure. So the gas pressure is given by the gauge pressure, which we are measuring with the help of the pressure gauge, plus atmospheric pressure. And the gauge pressure, if you see, it is in kg per centimeter square. That should be converted to Newton per meter square. Again here, to convert centimeter square to meter square, I am dividing this by 10 to the power of minus 4. Centimeter is 10 to the power of minus 2, squared is 10 to the power of minus 4. So by dividing this by 10 to the power of minus 4, I am converting centimeter square to meter square. And then to convert kg to Newton, we need to multiply it by 9.81. Okay, so the gauge pressure will be 2.9 into 9.81 divided by 10 to the power of minus 4 plus the atmospheric pressure, that is 101.325. This is in kilonewtons. So the total pressure of the gas is 385.815 kilonewton per meter square. Once we get the pressure of the gas, now we can find out the mass flow rate of the gas, which is given by Vg rho g divided by 1000 into 60. Again, the 1000 into 60 is here to convert the liters per minute to meter cube per second, multiplied by the density will give us the kg per second. So the density, when you substitute the value of P, Pg, Rg and Tg, Tg is the room temperature, which is 29 degrees Celsius now. So that is converted to Kelvin and substituted here. We get the density as 9.21 kg per meter cube. Once we know the density, we can find out the mass flow rate. Mg will be equal to Vg rho g divided by 1000 into 60, where 1000 into 60 is to convert liters per minute to meter cube per second, multiplied by kg per meter cube will give us kg per second. So the mass flow rate of a gas is 0.06 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kg per second. Now we know that is the assumption which we have made in this case. Whatever the energy released by the gas is completely absorbed by water. So Qg is equal to Qw. Qg can be written as mass flow rate of gas multiplied by the calorific value, which is equal to, in the case of water, it is mass flow rate of water into specific heat of water multiplied by the change in temperature between the inlet and outlet. Qg can be written as mg into Cv, that is mass flow rate of gas into calorific value, which is equal to mw Cpw into T2 minus T1, that is the outlet minus inlet temperature of water flowing through the calorimeter. So calorific value can be written as mw divided by gw, mw divided by mg multiplied by Cpw into T2 minus T1. When you substitute the values for the first trial, we got the calorific value as 8776.79 kilojoule per kg. And when we have done the calculation for the second trial, and that has been tabulated in the result table. So in the result table, for the first trial, mass flow rate of water is 8.33 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kg per second. Pressure of gas remains same for both the cases because Pg is same for both the trials, that is 2.9 kg per centimeter square. So the absolute pressure is 385.815 kilonewton per meter square. And the density remains same because the pressure and temperature remain same. So the density will be same. The mass flow rate of gas for the first trial is 0.06 into 10 to the power of minus 3. For the second trial it is 0.152 into 10 to the power of minus 3 kg per second. And the calorific value is, again, for the first trial it is 8776.79, and for the second trial it was 8770.5 kilojoule per kg. So this completes the conduction of the Junker's calorimeter experiment, or we have calculated the calorific value of the LPG, industrial LPG in this experiment. Now let us go through the Viva questions.